Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about exactly what the title suggests, semaglutide. Obviously within the past few months, it's actually probably been longer than that. I think it's been in the past half a year. It got obviously given the go-ahead to be prescribed in pharmacists, and I've seen a recent increase in more people using it, mainly people that do not need to use it, to be honest with you. And I'm basically just about to explain exactly what it is and how it works, and basically why people should or shouldn't use it, to be honest with you. So first things first, semaglutide is a drug that basically mimics a peptide hormone within your body. Long story short, what it does, it has an effect upon a hormone that's responsible for blood sugar, and in turn the blood sugar will have an effect upon your appetite, so the leptin and the ghrelin responses with it. So basically, long story short, it affects your appetite. That's literally what it is. That's all semaglutide is. It's just a drug which affects your appetite, and it's just got multiple steps in between it, which I'm not going to go into because it's so long-winded. All you need to know is it affects your appetite. If you take semaglutide, you'll probably have a appetite suppressant effect, right? Which basically means without a calorie deficit, semaglutide will not work, obviously. Just like with anything, any kind of drug, any kind of newfound method of losing fat will not work if you do not create a calorie deficit. Okay, so this semaglutide will not work if you are not eating less calories than what you burn off. And the way that it helps with that is it helps obviously with appetite, which basically means that the chances of you eating less calories than what you're burning up increases tenfold, right? That's what semaglutide does. Now, the thing is that this was originally created for people at risk of type 2 diabetes, okay? For people who are at risk of type 2 diabetes, and the people who have, or at least recovery from type 2 diabetes, because type 2 diabetes is caused via obesity. It's caused via obesity. When you're obese, when you are literally obese, you can develop type 2 diabetes, right? Which is basically insensitivity to insulin produced by your pancreas, right? So that's basically what it is. Now, obviously, it's life-threatening. If it goes too far, it can kill you. It could be fatal, which is why semaglutide came into it, because you'd rather have a drug to help you lose that obesity than be at risk of death. Now, there's loads of people out there who are using it as just a means of losing fat when they don't really need to lose, when they don't really need it, when they are not suffering with obesity or even at risk of type 2 diabetes. There's people that are using it as kind of like the get out of jail free card or the safety card. They're using it as kind of like the first point of call when they're trying to lose fat. My opinion on any kind of these things is semaglutide, it works, right? It does help you lose fat because it helps reduce your appetite, so you're not going to be eating as much, which means that creating a calorie deficit is going to be way easier for you. So it does work. All of these fat loss drugs, the majority of these fat loss drugs, especially if they're approved by the medical societies and shit like that, they will work 100%. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be taking them, and doesn't necessarily mean that you should be taking them, because any kind of medication, any kind of drug, should be always looked at as the last line of defense, as your Hail Mary, as your, everything else has failed. Like, you should try and do everything without drugs as best you can, without medication as best you can. And then if you cannot and you've exhausted all other options, that's when you go for it. Don't look at semaglutide as kind of like a easy way out of, putting on weight, as an easy way out of losing fat, because once again, it needs a calorie deficit to work. It helps with a calorie deficit, don't get me wrong, but it needs a calorie deficit to work. And also it's putting this in your body is the last line of defense. And at the end of the day, the people that it's been tested on, right? So semaglutide has been tested on people who are suffering with type 2 diabetes, and therefore the side effects were also conducted on people with type 2 diabetes. What it wasn't tested on is Sally from Derby, who's a little bit overweight but not suffering from type 2 diabetes, not really even on the onset of type 2 diabetes, who just wants to lose weight because she's getting married in the summer. That's what it wasn't tested on. It was tested on people who have type 2 diabetes, and therefore the side effects were also tested on people who have type 2 diabetes. That's what you need to understand. That is what you need to remember, in that if you are looking at semaglutide as kind of like this, easy way out, fast option in order to lose weight, it really shouldn't be, and you should stop looking at it like that. You should instead look at doing it the proper way first and foremost. eating less calories than what you're burning off consistently, rather than just looking at, let's take this drug, see if this works, because it will work 100%. I'm not going to lie to you. It most likely will work, but that shouldn't really be the go-to. It's kind of like killing an ant with a shotgun. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill an ant with a shotgun. And it's only after you've tried to exhaust all of the methods of killing that ant that's when you probably should look at the shotgun and think, yeah, let's fucking kill it. But at the moment, there's no need to kill that ant with a shotgun. You need to try the other methods first and foremost, because you're at risk of side effects that haven't been tested or accounted for in studies. So yeah, basically that's all you need to say. That's what semaglutide is. That's how it affects. That's how it impacts fat loss, and that's why you shouldn't really be looking at it as the as like the first thing to go for. You should look at it as a last line of defense if all else fails, basically. I hope that helps and I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions for me, feel free to DM me on my Instagram at k.p_health. If you want any of my free guides, including my Ultimate Eating Out Guide, my 5-ingredient recipe book, and my free alcohol cheat sheet, feel free just to send me an email on my email address, kieran@kphealth.co.uk. I'll be more than happy to send them through to you, no strings attached. In the meantime, have a lovely rest of your day. I'll speak to you again soon. Take care.